So, our next presenter is Jaime Pereña. Jaime is Spanish, but he works for Microsoft Corp in the AI marketing team, and he runs all of the enterprise AI marketing. And Jaime has been key in getting this event off the ground. He was one of the first to put up his hand and say, yep, I'll sponsor and I get my boss's boss here to present. So I think we should give Jaime a big applause for that.
Thank you.
And now what we need to do is we need to switch to your PC. I moved your table around, so maybe if you want to move it here a little bit more or no? Is it okay?
It's okay. It's okay. Doesn't matter.
How do we switch to your screen?
Yes. Okay, so good afternoon. I know I'm before the break, the coffee break, so this is always not the best place to be. So as Michiel was saying, I in the Microsoft AI team at Corp, my big major responsibility is twofold. I'm trying to help accelerate bringing new technologies from research to engineering for businesses or enterprise-oriented. And the second thing is all about empowering all the business community, starting from partners and also customers on AI. I will be around today and also tomorrow, so feel free to grab me or talk to me if you want, okay? The goal for the session that we have right now, and by the way, you've seen some stuff about AI Business School. There's a lot of resources that you have available online to think about AI strategically, think about all those cultural changes that AI drives, and with a lot of examples and documentation, and also responsible AI, as well as a little bit of technology, right? And the goal of the session that we have now is for me help you making sure that for the rest of the 2 days you all understand relatively well the technology part, right? But the way to do this is I'm just going to be doing demos. Okay, I no slides, no PowerPoints, sorry about that, no PowerPoint translation. So, and I try to bring us a lot of new demos. So hopefully you haven't seen them. But the one I'm going to do is relatively didactic. So I want just to make sure that, so if you have questions about what is this, just go please and raise your hand, because that's the opportunity to make sure that we'll have a common understanding around that. Okay, let's see what's going on here. This. Okay, here you go. Well, I see there, but not there. Okay. So I'm going to start with this demo. It's going to take a lot of my presentation and go through this demo. This demo has a deep learning component, so I can tell you what deep learning is. I have a machine learning component. I can show you what machine learning is. It has a conversational AI component. We can also discuss what it is. It has also a knowledge mining component as well. So it's from technology perspective, that's why I have picked it to start. But I will never do the demo talking about that way. So for me, it's a purely a business demo. So, and when I created this demo, I really have this kind of partners in mind. And you will see, for the example, on the kind of things that you do, you will see that has a component that is a web application, that has Excel component, has a Dynamics component. So we have an ingredients that you are familiar with, and you're probably going to. And also the customers could be, I mean, you have a great variety of customers, from bigger to small, but this could be customer that resonates with you, okay? And most interestingly, because certain things I don't fully agree with the people said on the report. Actually, I think that the key things on AI is just bringing AI to every employee. And you will hear more about this tomorrow. And that's the differences between the companies that think about AI strategically and the companies that don't think about AI strategically. Some are thinking, I'm going to save 5% of or reduce 5% of my cost in the data center by putting AI. But others are thinking, I'm going to double my business by bringing AI to every employee. So I think we're going to go more on that angle right there. So the idea behind this, and so I'm going to try to make sure that you get a lot of ideas as well, is this is a small company. This is a small company that they deliver all kind of supplies for pools. Okay, chemies, the chemical things, the covers, the filters, all those kind of things, right? And they want to open a new branch. So, and the idea is going to try to show you how everybody collaborates, because it's a super smart organization, and to see how they work together and they use AI on different business functions. Because other of the things that I'm finding constantly is that a lot of people are doing proof of concepts, and a lot of those proof of concepts, as you were seeing today, are coming from IT, things like that. So we're going to try to see things slightly different things. So the first thing is, they want to, how do I open, or where do I open a new branch? And they think, okay, well, let's open a new branch wherever we have a lot of pools. That makes a lot of sense, right? If we have a place in which there's a lot of pools, and we don't have much customers, that's probably a good place to open a branch, right? So in order to do that, say how we can do this, and they say, okay, I'm going to use satellite images to look for pools, okay? And this is not science fiction. This is based on a real project. Actually, it was not for pools, it was for an oil and gas company. And there's multiple uses of this. So a lot of your customers might be thinking, okay, where I can find gas deposits, or when I can find bus stations, or where I can find public spaces, or where I can find, so this is just an example. But it's also a great example for deep learning, okay? And let me show you, then explain you what deep learning is. So deep learning, how many of you will say, oh, I know what deep learning is, I understand what deep learning is? Okay, a few of you, okay, good. For the others, think about deep learning as the way we learn as humans. So how do we learn what a car is? Your parents are not going to teach you, hey, a car is a vehicle that has 4 wheels, that has windows on it, that has doors. That's the way we learn. We learn about going on the street and looking at a lot of books, and we get a lot of inputs and say, hey, this is a car, this is a car, this is a car. And then we start putting some neurons to work and say, okay, at the end we identify those things. And sometimes we make mistakes and we say, oh, look, this is a car. And say, no, that's a truck, right? And this reinforcement model of getting false positives and learning is how you get better and better and understand what a car is and not a truck. Okay, behind the scene, we have our neurons. Well, behind the scenes on deep learning, what is they have these neural networks. That basically what they do is they adjust themselves, adjust the weight and the formulas and the mathematics and the relationship between the neurons to be able to replicate what they have as an input on the outcome. So the input was a car, and then I can say, okay, I see something different as a car. But that's how it works. So in this case, what we have done, and I want to try to make sure that I don't take so much time talking because I have a reminder that we lose this. So in this case, what we have done is we have taught this model to identify pools. And not only that, and that's another interesting thing as well. So I agree with what you were hearing before, that you need data for AI, but not necessarily all the data that you need is internal. And that's also something interesting, because if some of your customers say, oh, I can't do AI because I don't have my data, or my data is out of it, we say we can use a lot of external data also. So this is all the first stage is using a lot of external data. So we run the model, we find different areas near Madrid with more buyer propensity. This is the model, or we can also estimate which is our market share. We can look at how many of the pools that we have the same address that the address that we have on our customer base, and then we can I can create a model to find out, okay, this is our market share, and we can also based on public data, for example, on which is the average income in La Moraleja is higher than in other areas, so I can make some estimations and I can estimate how much interest is this area is, okay? And just to let me show you, I can zoom in a little bit, okay? And then you can see actually that is how the model is looking in, and I can find out existing pools, all the existing pools, and I can see which are our current customers and which are new customers. So if I continue zooming in a little bit, you actually can see actually the model is quite good on finding pools. It's not perfect. And it's something important to say. AI is not perfect. So you might find always maybe something like a pool that is missing something. Okay, but on average, you see that we can do a relatively good job on finding the pools and also estimating the size of each of the pools. And actually, I could click on each of the customers, and I can get information about each of the customers, right? And I can get information. And In most of the cases, I can use a lot of information that is public. In this case, you will see a lot of average and things that say, okay, this is coming from that, okay? So this is an example, and something interesting, okay, interesting concept with this demo, okay, is we could select one of these cases and say and mark it as a false positive, because the person that is using this is not a data scientist, because it's the person that is the business development department that are looking for the different areas. They're not the domain expert, but you think about how we can empower every employee to participate on getting the models better. They don't need to be data scientists in order to do that, right? These kind of scenarios, okay, which are very specific or verticalized, or things that they're not probabilistic in that way. These are great scenarios for deep learning, right? This is why I picked that, so you can get a good sense of, okay, when apply deep learning, when machine learning. This is a great example for deep learning, right? Well, not only I got a potential good location for opening the new branch, I also got a lot of potential leads. All of these are potential leads. So I can take all this data and send it over to the marketing guys. I can take all this data and send it over to the marketing guys. The marketing guys will get a lot of data. You see that a lot of this data, it's the same. And it's the same because it's coming from a public data source that is just doing average of the system. But in some cases, I have data which is personalized or customized. Like, for example, I can make some changes. I can take all this and load it into Excel. Right? And this is what we did in this project. We took all the leads, okay, and we split it in two. We did all the existing customers on one tab, and the new customers on the new potential leads on another tab, right? And here, what I want to show you, again, is how you can have, and this is the same information, we have it on the website, okay, so this is the data, right? And what you see on the right-hand side, okay, is a connection with a set of machine learning models. Okay, now we get into the machine learning section, we get into the deep learning, we get into the machine learning section. So this, and again, what the concept I want to show you, or the things I want to discuss with you, is how you can take on some of these models and making sure that you put it on the hands of the marketing guys, in this case. So the marketing guys, I mean, they can use some of these machine learning models as if they were using Excel functions. And that's the idea. And that's things that you can do, things that you can be familiar with that. All these models that you see right now here on this side are actually coming from a repository that we have online. It's called Azure AI Gallery. Okay, so you go to gallery.azure.ai, you see a lot of models. So actually, if you look at, for example, propensity models, you will get a bunch of results, okay? Some of these models, in this case, what you see here, none is coming from Microsoft. Those are coming all from different partners like you, okay? If I look at churn, for example, well, if I spell it properly, if I look at churn, for example, you find a lot of examples. Some of these examples are coming actually from Microsoft. Others are not coming from Microsoft. There are good, better, best, all kind of things. Okay, I'm sharing. Did you know about this? No. Okay, a couple of. So, which is interesting for you about this is twofold. So first, it could be a great source of inspiration. So it would be a great place to say, okay, this is probably a good place where I can learn. There's a lot of variety of things, so that's good or bad. I mean, so you can find things that have been done purely on Azure, things that have been done on SQL on premises. You will find things on Databricks. You will find things with Azure machine learning. So there's a great variety of things. Okay, some of them have very, very good documentation. So especially look at the ones from Microsoft. I would recommend, obviously, but not because we've done it, because I know how they have been done. Okay, you have some very good, in some cases, you have the stages you can do, and if in many cases, actually, you can open directly the machine learning model in Azure ML Studio. Okay, so it's a good starting point. The second reason why I wanted to show this to you is because you can also participate and collaborate. So if you manage to do a good model, you manage to do something, okay, you don't need to expose it 100%. Maybe you can expose a little bit of the model so you can get a customer excited to see how your knowledge is and say, okay, maybe you can try something, or maybe you can just expose, I mean, as much as you want. If we are in an open source world, maybe you want to just go and demonstrate your expertise and say, hey, this is my model. If you want to engage with us, just engage with us. So this is, so I have a lot of partner empathy, believe me, so I know how you think about getting more customers and more opportunities. So this could be a good idea. So actually, the models that you see here, all of them are coming from that library for this demo. I did it on purpose around that. And so let me show you how this could work. So you can, we can take the data on the table here, and I can try to calculate the propensity model. The propensity with a propensity model. I'm going to use the data on the table here, okay, and I'm going to, if I remember, what is I need to put it on T3, okay. So T3, I'm going to predict, and automatically I'm going to get a prediction based on the data I have here. Just, there you go, okay. And the first thing so two things I noticed immediately. First, okay, it's work. We get an outcome. So the second thing is it's not very useful. Okay, so this is first. I don't trust that everybody has so much high propensity, and second, there is no discrimination. Okay, so, and I'm now thinking about like a marketing guy. I'm not like a data scientist. I say, okay, I'm going to try the other. I have another propensity model. I'm going to try the other propensity model. I'm going to take the same data, I'm going to put it on the same place, and I'm going to predict and see if this model works better for me or works. Okay, feels like probably this model might be better for me. Why I'm showing you this way is I'm realizing probably the experts are like, feeling so bad. Okay, I think that's the place where I think we should be going, moving forward. And that's what has happened with a lot of technologies in the past. So at the beginning, there are some people that, oh, we are the expert on those things, but at the end, we look at, we have, I mean, the web page, the very first web pages was only a few people that were able to do that. Now there's a lot of tools or different things that everybody can create a blog post or can create anything like that. So, and with AI, it's going to happen like that. You're going to have some super high-end models that will be done by data scientists, but there are going to be a lot of things that you can democratize, and there are going to be things that you can put in the hands of people, and they can use it, and that's the way it's going to work, right? So that's a good example. By the way, so for example, and then what you want is people to be using those models with freedom. You know? For example, you have this 49% probability. That's not, that feels like, oh, there's something I need to be doing with that, right? So I can, for example, try to lower the price and automatically see what happens, and it's, oh, that's better. So it looks like it's with a little bit of a better pricing, I can do something better. That's the marketing mindset, right? So a little bit. So this was, I said, technology for business people. So the idea is not getting too much on the technology, but at least show you a bit of a glance of the machine learning studio to see how it works. So. This is an example of machine learning, okay? There's all kind of literature about deep learning, machine learning is one, there's a subset of the others. Some people consider deep learning as a subset of a whole machine learning as a broader thing. Some people feel like, okay, well, machine learning is more subset. I'm not going to get onto the arguments of one thing or the other. Okay, let me show you how it works. So this is the Azure Machine Learning Studio. Have you seen it before? It's been around for quite some time. I see some heads nodding. I mean, if this is not useful, you better tell me, because I better go to something different, okay? So, so if everybody have seen it, just...
You show it. Show it.
Show it, okay, thank you.
Go for it.
All right. So Machine Learning Studio, and let me say something here. You're not recording me, right? Yeah. So we need to get much better in tooling. We know, we're very conscious of that. Okay, so we not super. Oh, this is the awesome tool in the world. No, I think we know, we're conscious. So we know that all the tradition that we have with Visual Studio, DevOps, and the way we do development, the way we do AI today is way far from that experience. We're very conscious of that, so you should expect a lot of great improvement on our tooling in the next months and fiscal year, right? So things will change. So Machine Learning Studio, when I talk to business people like you about Machine Learning Studio, is this way, right? And this is, you can understand a lot of things without knowing what we're talking about. You can understand, you see, data format, data input, data transformation. Okay, I can work with data, first thing. Second, machine learning, Python, R, okay, it looks like I can do machine learning, right? And then we look at it, web service, save as, public access web service, okay. You get the point, right? You can work with data, do machine learning, and publish as a web service. So that's basically what the idea it is about. And you have people that understand data. You can have people trained to use this tool. People that understand a little bit of modeling, you can train your people to do these things, right? And some of the good things, this is relatively easy to use. If I take a machine learning, if I look at initializing a model, if I take a classification model and a multi-class decision forest, and I start not understanding what it is, okay, we have a lot of help. So we did more help, okay, it's very well documented for you people to start, okay, this is how it works, this is the module, this is how it works, this is blah, 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 blah. Example is taking those parameters, right? Okay, so this is, so if, for those of you that are already doing a lot of AI, this is super well known. For those of you that you'll be more traditional, where do I start, how do I get my people? So this is probably a very good starting point. It's very well documented, they can try it, it's safe. And with those examples that I show you in the gallery, you also have some data sets to start and doing some tests. It could be a good way to start doing something like that, right? And think about, and they say, okay, but how I use it? So this example that I was saying, helping someone with a spreadsheet using, calculating buyer propensity, or similarly, I have the churn in existing customers. I can run a churn model to say, what is the probability of churn? Okay, so this kind of use cases can help you understanding, okay, we're going from something that is super complicated to something that you can talk to any of your customers about, right? And as I said, also, because I know, and I've been there with you, you will get a lot of excuses from your customers, right? So this is always, oh, we're not ready, we don't have the data. So that's what I'm saying. There is a lot of possibilities to say, okay, we bring you the data from outside, or there's things that we can do. So in order to just break the ice, right? Or we say, oh, there's security, or we need to partner with X, or we need to partner with Y, or hide it. So a lot of those things you can talk to your market, to the line of business managers. So there's things and conversations you can have with your customers. Hopefully you agree, because that's, or at least is that what I think, right? Okay, so let me go back to the website, right? And the third step I have in this demo is to explain you a bit more about conversational AI. You are super familiar with conversational AI. You've seen a lot of things, but still there's a few things I wanted to talk to you and share with you about conversational AI. And by the way, conversational AI is another great example of something that you don't necessarily need a lot of data in your company in order to do that. So it's also something that you can have as a conversation starter, as a way to start on AI. My experience with conversational AI is it's a bit trickier than the way that Microsoft has been positioning. Okay, so I'm very, very conscious that sometimes Microsoft says, "Oh, just easy, just go build a bot." No, I mean it's a bit more difficult than that, but it's also a bigger opportunity for you, right? So it's not like, okay, everybody can do a bot. I think that doing a relatively smart bot is not that easy, but it's a good idea. In this case, what we think on the demo is, because we have all those new leads and we have done all these opportunities, we can integrate it with a field agent tool. So in this case, we can have a conversation with the bot. And by the way, I have this working on Cortana. Use it as a Cortana skill. You can use it as you can put it on Facebook. You can put it on any of the channels that we can use around that. Okay, so. From Microsoft perspective, and I'm sure you know about that, on the conversational AI, we have the natural language understanding tools, but we also have all the platform and development tools with the bot framework and all the abilities that you have to put it on different channels. In this case, I can report the amount of work that I have done, and I can ask, for example, I can ask questions like, okay, is there anything I can do with this customer? Right? And this is the kind of things that makes things, I think, smarter to think is like and that's for me what it could be interesting. I say, okay, and because I have the data, I can say, oh, there's a long time the customer has not changed the filter and things like that. But I can continue working, and I can come back, and I can ask if this thing works, which is just probably all of you are using the networking and the Kahoot and stuff like that, and it's taking longer. But anyway. I can finally ask. That's why I put it in here. Okay, I can say, okay, have a good day, and I can ask questions and say, hey, by the way, what should I do now? And it's finding where I'm located, which is actually, yes, I'm located here. This is the hotel, and say, this is your location. Yes, this is my location. So it's telling me there's a potential customer near you. Right, and they might be detected, and I can, because I make these calculations, I can calculate, okay, what is the probability of success, and because I calculate that probability can tell me, and I can say, please, send me direction to that customer, and I can get directions automatically to the customer. But that's all the bot and the chatbots, I think, is more natural, and I think you understand a bit better. Don't need to explain much about that thing, but I think you get a good sense, right? I do have 9 minutes. I might come back to chats, depending on how we do on the other stuff. But let me show you the final section of the demo, which is about knowledge. Okay, and this is a big differentiation from Microsoft, right? And I think how many of you know about knowledge mining, or have been talking about knowledge search? 1, 2, okay. This is one of the best opportunities you have out there, okay? Certainly, right? And in this case, I mean, you can partner with people like you want, not necessarily you can have your customers, but this is a big differentiator from Microsoft, okay? Because right now, there's a lot of competition in cognitive services, in bots, and the functionalities and features are quite there. There's not like a big differentiation. We don't have Amazon or Google or Microsoft, but this is a big differentiator, right? In this case, I'm going to show you, and you might have seen the JFK demo. Yeah. Okay. So even if all of you have seen it, I really want to show you how I think about the JFK demo. Because the JFK demo I think about is on how to apply the JFK demo to the pool company. Okay, and basically, because the JFK demo, and I'll show you where the source code is right now, you have the source code, you can take the source code of the JFK demo and take it, apply it to your customer. So in this case, what I did is, so this is actually, I'm taking all the tweets from that the company is getting. So every tweet that gets smart and pool, okay, I analyze the tweet. And I'm parsing it and checking to see only the tweets that have negative sentiment on it. Okay? This is the use of cognitive services. So cognitive services, for those of you who don't really know how to put all these pieces together, are pre-trained deep learning models that we have created for regular tasks, things that all of you might want to do at any time, like recognizing a face, like identifying a vision, an object, or doing sentiment analysis. So those are APIs. You can call the cognitive service, and you get the outcome and say, oh, this is a negative tweet, a negative tweet, a negative tweet. So when I get the negative tweet, what I can do is many things. So I say, okay, let me check this one in particular. So what I do is, first, I'm going to try to see if I can identify the customer. Okay, so I can look at the database, and sorry, network is not the fastest ever, but let me see. So I'm going to try to explain you. So I'm going to try to find out information about the customer. But not only that, I'm going to try to, because I have the cognitive services, and I can try to understand what the problem is about, and I can check the problem against my database to see if I can find a solution to the problem. Okay, and that's how I use, just please go on. Well, in the meantime, so basically going back to JFK, which is the same concept of JFK, you've seen JFK. So basically JFK, we took thousands of documents about the assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy, okay, and we're using these cognitive services to understand what is in that documentation, right? So, for example, if I look for Oswald, I can find Oswald in a document. So I can find here understanding what is in the document, or I can find Oswald in handwriting. So I can do handwriting recognition and do that. You see, it's not perfect. Okay, so you see mistakes, right? For example, English dictionary. This is clearly not well. However, if I had to do this, believe me, it's going to be way worse than what the machine learning is doing. So we need, and I always say this: machine learning is not perfect. We're not. That can help significantly. Right? We can also recognize Oswalds on images. So we're using all these cognitive services: image recognition, text recognition, handwriting recognition. We're using all these cognitive services to create a knowledge graph and understand what are the entities and what is going on there, right? Well, the same thing I've done with the pool company. I took a lot of manuals from pools and filters and all these chemicals and all those things. We put together all the documents into a knowledge base. Oh, here it is. And basically, I can say, oh, this is the photo with the post, and say possible cause, pool chemistry, blah, blah, blah. And this information is coming from exact same concept that JFK. So basically, when I take the tweet and I use the tweet as the query for the database, okay, I get, okay, it probably has to do with accidental damage that leads to customer anger, right? So that's how you need to be thinking about this thing. It's not like, oh, super cool JFK project. It's not, how can I use this project to drive new business? This is an area that you can certainly make an impact, because most of your customers have a lot of unstructured data. They have a lot of documents. They have a lot of contracts. They have a lot of stuff, right? So, and being able to make sense of that stuff is something that you can help on, right? So, and this is how you can do that. In this case, you actually can add some more data to the knowledge base and blah, blah, blah. We only have a few more minutes, okay? We have this thing that's called ailab.microsoft.com. In here, we have experiments. All these experiments, and this is where I took the JFK file, okay? One of the great things that they have is that you can check the files on GitHub, okay? So The same way we say with the gallery, you can get some models and start from, don't need to start from scratch. The same thing, you can take JFK, you can apply JFK, you saw it, how we do it on the pools. That's why I want to show you. Even though you've seen JFK, yes, better. That's why I want to show you the pools, because it's just copy and paste. Just take the content, use it, and apply it to do that, right? And that's, so the key areas, the 4 key areas. Deep learning, I show you the example of the image recognition satellites. The machine learning, I show you how to integrate it on Excel, how you look for some models, what is the tool on how you do that. Conversational AI was super fast. I have more, but I think it's you know better about conversational AI. And the 4 area knowledge mining, right? This together, another great asset that we have is the knowledge graph, the Microsoft Graph as well, right? And doing projects of connecting the Microsoft Graph together with this kind of knowledge mining is also a terrific opportunity as well. Because, for example, you can say not only, so this is a great example we did with one customer about finding who in my company knows about something. How you can know about that. So the Office Graph is fantastic to do that. But if you, on top of that, you can take and apply this knowledge mining concept to all the existing documents that a company has, you can go way beyond that. In this particular case, the customers wanted to know, for example, have we ever done a video, it's an advertisement company, with children on it? Who has done that? That sounds like a science fiction question, right? But it was a science fiction question 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but now it's not. Now you can create a model that looks for children into the videos and then put it on this graph, and then you ask the question, and then you find, oh, yes, there is one video, and who did that video. That's the kind of things you can make a tremendous impact on your customers, right? In some cases, you can use already existing models from Microsoft, or if you want to find the children on the video and we don't have a model for that, that's where you create your own model, or you partner with someone that creates that own model for you, right? But that's also opportunities for partner-to-partner connection here. Then people will know better certain things and other things. Well, hopefully this was the goal achieved on having a better understanding of the technology with examples, with things that you can apply to your everyday business. As I said, I will be around, and online on the AI Business School, we have some videos that explain in a bit more detail what's machine learning, what is deep learning, so you can go there, you can get a better sense of all these things I was talking about. Thank you.